Sage Forsaken here, and today we're looking at the True Hero Sentinel 1 action figures. Airbreak, Bandit, and Extreme. Now, on the back of the package, they actually do show them again, but they don't put the names actually with the figures. Airbreak is, of course, the Wingsuit guy. This, you would think would be Ice, but this might be Ice. I mean, he might be icing people. Extreme could be either one of these. And Bandit, I would think would be this one, but of course he's sneaky, so maybe he's Bandit. Who knows? Unlike Leonard, they don't have a cool website that I know of where I can find this out with pictures of the figures and everything. Maybe I should research that. Anyway, True Heroes Sentinel 1 is the true, Toys R Us exclusive rebranding of Chatmate action figures. We're going to look at these figures and take them out of the package. Welcome back, fellow sages. So, as you can see, some of these weapons are much out of scale with the figures, and some are perfectly in scale with the figures. You can see the sniper rifle fits his hands good, looks like. Ice's weapon looks like it would fit good. This weapon here looks like it would fit well. But these two guns are ridiculously out of scale with their figures. Marvel Legends style guns is what they look like to me. Anyway, let me go ahead and stop the video and get these unpacked better. Hello again, fellow sages. So let's talk about the actual weapons again. So in the plastic, they're actually taped in. Each weapon is taped in separately. And they're molded well into the plastic. You can see that there's a good amount of detail on these weapons. Especially the smaller ones look really sharp and detailed. This backpack that comes with Ice does have a way to hold the gun on the side here, it looks like. We'll try that out in a minute. The sniper rifle comes with its own separate attachment so that it can have a tripod, bipod or whatever for shooting. And each of these figures is molded to do specifically their role. You have your CIA spook looking guy. And of course, he has his backpack actually sculpted in. Big screw holes in the back. There's no waist articulation because of that. But as you can see on the front, it's painted in the crotch. On the back, it's not painted on his keister. So you can see they cut a little bit of cost there by not painting that part. The legs do articulate. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and get the camera put on a bipod or tripod or whatever so we can do a little bit better look at the articulation on these. And we're rolling. So, like I was saying, this CIA looking guy, it's great to see that, like the core, that Sentinel 1 does have diversity in their ranks. However, unlike the core, this arm does not pivot upward except to pivot around. In other words, it's a one point of articulation instead of more than one. Whereas with the core, most of these figures would be able to lift their arms straight up from their side. They also, of course, he does have elbow articulation. He has leg articulation, though it doesn't go up a whole lot. And he has, if it's not one thing, it's another. Okay, so this figure, like I was saying, does have leg articulation, goes up that much, goes down only that much, and it does bend at the leg, at the knee. He does have knee articulation on the other side as well, and pretty much same articulation as most Chatmate style action figures. The arm goes all the way around on both sides, and you have elbow articulation. So on a core figure, there's a split right here, and only Airbreak on this set, I believe, has this split right here so that the arm can also lift outward. But anyway, cool looking figure, very kind of CIA, operative type figure. And I don't want to lose that. Okay, so our sniper rifle figure has articulation at the legs, very much like the other figures. The difference in this figure is while his arm does go up, it's sculpted so that he can hold the rifle. And the position of the arm is set to hold a rifle. So in other words, he can't be really, he could be climbing down a rope, he could be doing a bunch of different stuff, but mostly he's made to be able to actually set up like he's going to fire his rifle. In fact, his whole stick here is that his head actually will pivot back, so when he's laying down, he can actually hold his rifle correctly. So that's the cool thing about the sniper. He's got a ghillie suit sculpted on. Everything else besides the neck bulge here, where he can go like this, it also, of course, does turn, is pretty much the same as the other figure. You got some little cool detail there on the front. And, of course, pouches on the legs that aren't on the other figure, almost like knee pads and stuff like that. It's a little different. The ghillie suit is a nice touch, and I'm going to go ahead and get a picture later of this guy laying down. As you can see here, it's really hard to get in a realistic looking pose on a flat surface with this set, because his head doesn't go quite far enough back, and the gun doesn't really rest in the other hand very well. They've got some pictures on the back of the box where he's laying down, and I'm pretty much trying to do the same exact pose. So what they did is they turned the head towards the figure. Hold on, let's see. Let's look at this. They turn the head towards us, because who would want to look down the side, the scope or the rifle or whatever. Now this hand does not pivot anyway. All it does is the arm does come in. So it has this going right beside his face into the crook of his arm in the picture. You can kind of force it there, and then you can kind of put this other hand down around, and that's about as close as you're going to get to that picture. Still pretty cool that they made the effort to make a good sniper that actually can lay down and snipe and look sort of in the direction he's supposed to, because most action figures can't do that. Anyway, we're going to look at the other figures now. Hold on. Okay, and now we're going to look at who I'm going to call Ice or Extreme, because he could be extreme weather, I guess. Extreme, he has the same articulation as the first guy, this guy. Pretty much his articulation is almost exactly the same. The big cool thing about him is instead of having a sculpted on backpack, he has a backpack that comes with him. And his gun actually can clip in by the little handle here. I think it'll go either upside down or right side up. Though, of course, if you're carrying your gun this way, you get rain down your barrel. That's not good for the gun. Probably it should be the other way around. But it's cool that it at least has a wearable weapon feature, sort of. Unlike, most other figures in this line. This leg actually comes up a little bit better than the other leg, because I believe the sculpting of the leg is a little different. You still get the same knee articulation, and of course there's no wrist or anything like that articulation. Head does articulate left or right. He's got his goggles molded to the helmet there, and basically just has a vest with pouches and stuff like that. He's obviously they're cold weather gear expert. So we now have CIA operative, who I'm going to go ahead and give this gun, since Airbreak is flying most of the time, even though some of the packaging shows Airbreak with this gun. So, okay, now Airbreak is why I believe the person who is wanting this is wanting this. It's one of my friends on the Core website. They don't have a Toys R Us near them, so I asked if I could check out this for them, and I was more than happy to do so that I could also make a video of it. Now, This does have a plastic clip right here that holds basically the wingsuit here. You can see here that it actually does kind of fold down if you unclip it. So you could leave it on his back if you wanted to, and kind of fold it a little bit down. But it does look like it comes off of his back. It has the two pegs there that go into the back, and then he has clips on his at his ankles too. So unclip that. You can see here that unlike the other figures in this line, he does still have only elbow swivel. In other words, elbow pivot here. He doesn't turn like outward or inward like a core figure would. He also has the same kind of arms as a core figure would, because that's how he can get up into the pose to allow him to use a wingsuit. So he's a little better articulated than the other figures in this line. He's kind of a cool looking figure. He's got the mask on, so he's sort of an army builder. His head does pivot left and right. And of course he's got basically pouches on here. And he looks very much like a flight suit type get up. It would be kind of cool if his neck was like the sniper's neck, in the fact that when he's in the wingsuit and he's flying, he can only see down, whereas in real life he'd want to look up a little bit so he could see ahead of him. But if you, based on your posing, when you're like hanging him in a background or something, it wouldn't really matter. Anyway, this has been the Sentinel 1 set, including Airbreak, including Ice, Extreme, Bandit, and maybe I'm going to call this guy Bandit or the Sniper Bandit. Because this guy, I'm going to call him Extreme, even though I don't know if that's right. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video. Like and subscribe, and of course, as always, pour on the plastic.